There's something your dog is trying to tell you every single day, and most people never hear it. Not because they don't love their animal, but because nobody ever taught them how to listen the right way. Today, you're going to learn 7 things you can do in less than a minute each. Simple things, everyday things, things that might seem small to you but change everything for your dog. And I'm also going to tell you what you're doing right now without realizing it that's causing confusion, stress, or worse, making your dog feel completely alone even when you're in the same room. Stay until the end. Number 7 is the one that took me the longest to believe when I first learned it, and it's probably the one you're going to want to try tonight. Let's get into it. The first thing, and this is something almost everyone does from the very first day a puppy comes home. When your dog comes to greet you, you bend down, look them straight in the eyes, and start talking. Hi, baby. Yes, I love you. Look at you. And you do it because for humans, eye contact means connection. It means presence. It means love. But for a dog, direct and sustained eye contact doesn't mean the same thing. In canine biology, a fixed stare is a signal of dominance or threat. It's what a dog does when evaluating whether another animal is dangerous. It's what animals do right before they attack. Your dog, if they're older and have been with you a while, has learned to tolerate it. But that doesn't mean they enjoy it. A study from Kochi University in Japan found that when dogs and their owners gazed into each other's eyes, both released oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But there's a condition. That only works when the gaze is mutual, soft, and initiated by the animal. When you impose it, the story is different. So here's what you can do today. When your dog comes to greet you, instead of staring directly at them, gently squint your eyes. Like you're about to fall asleep. In dog language, that means, I'm calm, I trust you, I'm not a threat. It's what dogs do with each other when they're completely relaxed. Do it tonight. And watch how your dog responds. You'll see their shoulders drop. You'll see them exhale. You'll see them move closer, because finally you're speaking their language. The second thing is about the moment you come home. And almost everyone gets this wrong, including people who have had dogs their entire lives. You walk in, your dog is frantic, jumping, spinning, barking with excitement. And you, because you love them, match that energy. You crouch down, hug them, ruffle their fur, speak in a loud, excited voice. It feels like the best moment of the day for both of you. But do you know what you're accidentally teaching them? You're confirming that the time you were gone was, in fact, a crisis. That their anxiety was justified. That waiting alone is something that deserves that explosion of relief when you return. Researchers at the Animal Welfare Center at the University of Bristol documented that dogs with separation anxiety don't improve when owners reinforce homecomings with high excitement. The opposite happens. The cycle intensifies. The dog learns that leaving is dramatic and coming back is too. And that keeps them in a constant state of alert that, over time, is genuinely exhausting for their nervous system. What you can do in less than a minute is this. When you get home, ignore your dog for the first 30 seconds. Walk in, put your things down, take off your shoes. No eye contact, no talking, no touching. Then, once they've calmed down slightly, slowly crouch and greet them gently. Low voice, slow movements. The result? Your dog stops living each day like an emotional roller coaster. They start to feel that your presence is safety, not an event. And that is the kind of love a dog can actually hold on to. The kind that doesn't wear them out. Third thing. This one is the most painful to me because it comes from the best possible intentions. When your dog is scared, during a thunderstorm, fireworks, something that upsets them, what do? You hug them. You speak softly. You tell them it's okay that you're there. Because that's what you do with a child, with someone you love. And it turns out that with dogs, that works differently. Your dog doesn't understand your words. What they perceive is your energy. And when you rush over anxiously to comfort them, when your voice rises even slightly, when your body tenses because you're worried they're suffering, they read all of that as evidence that there is, in fact, something to be afraid of. You become proof of the danger. The ethologist John Bradshaw, in his research on canine behavior, describes this as emotional feedback. Dogs read our internal state with a precision that surpasses us. If you're nervous about their fear, they feel 2 fears at once. So, what do you do instead? When your dog is scared, stay nearby but don't hug them. Sit on the floor, breathe slowly and deeply, and simply rest one hand lightly on their back without squeezing. No talking, no moving, just warmth, just stable presence, like a tree in a storm. That tells them, I'm here. There's no danger. Look how calm I am. And their nervous system begins to sync with yours. Dogs do that. They regulate with us, but only if we regulate ourselves first. Fourth point, and this one stings a little to admit. When was the last time you let your dog sniff something for as long as they actually wanted? When you go for walks, you're probably pulling on the leash. Places to be, they've sniffed enough, they're falling behind. And the walk ends up being a march that you control and they just endure. But a dog's sense of smell is not just a sense, it's how they see the world. Their nose has 300 million olfactory receptors compared to the 6 million we have. When a dog sniffs a fire hydrant, they don't just know another dog was there. They know what that dog ate, whether they're healthy, their approximate age, their emotional state. Whether they were stressed is like reading an entire newspaper in 3 seconds. Depriving them of that because you're in a hurry is like taking someone to the Louvre blindfolded and jogging. A study from Linköping University in Sweden found that dogs who were allowed to sniff freely during walks showed significantly lower stress levels than those who walked at a constant pace without pausing. And they were also more tired at the end, in a good way, the kind of tiredness that produces satisfaction. What you can do today, once a day during a walk or even in the yard or on the balcony, give them 5 minutes of completely free sniffing. No pulling, no rushing. Let them decide where, how long, how deeply. That's not wasting time. That's giving your dog access to their inner world. And when you come back inside, you'll notice them differently, calmer, more complete. Fifth thing, this one is subtle but powerful. Does your dog have a place in your home that is exclusively theirs? Not the place you put them when they're bothering you on the couch. A place they chose, that smells like them, where nobody ever bothers them, where there's no background noise, where they can go when they need to rest from everything. A lot of dogs don't have that. And what it creates is a state of chronic low-level alertness. Because there's never a moment when the environment tells them, here you can let your guard down completely. We need this too. A room, a chair, a corner where we're invisible to the world. When we don't have it, we get irritable, hypersensitive, less patient with everything. Dogs are the same. Modern ethology talks about the concept of a secure refuge as a basic need in social mammals. It's not a luxury, it's a neurological necessity. A brain that never fully rests cannot fully bond, cannot fully trust. Today, in less than a minute, you can do this. Find a corner of your home with low foot traffic. Put their bed or their blanket there. Make sure no one in the family disturbs them when they're there, not even to give affection, and let it be theirs. Within a few days, you'll notice your dog is calmer overall, because now they know they can let go, that there's a place where they don't have to be on guard about anything. And paradoxically, when they have that refuge, they spend more time with you. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Sixth thing, get ready because this one is uncomfortable. How many times a day do you talk to your dog without really paying attention? You say something while looking at your phone. You call them, and when they come, you pet them mechanically. You're physically present, but not actually there. Dogs notice. Not in the rational way we would, but they feel it in their bodies because they're constantly reading micro signals, the direction of your gaze, the tension in your jaw, whether your breathing is shallow or deep, whether you're really there or somewhere else entirely. An experiment from the University of Portsmouth showed that dogs can distinguish between a human actively ignoring them versus simply being distracted, and they adjust their behavior in different ways. When they feel ignored, many dogs increase attention-seeking behaviors that we then interpret as annoying. But that behavior is communication. They're saying, you're here, but you're not with me. What you can do once a day, 1 real minute. Put your phone down. Sit on the floor with your dog. Not to do anything, just to be there. Breathe. Put your hand on their back and feel their breathing. No goals, no training, no routine, just existing together. That 1 minute is worth more than hours of distracted presence. Because in that minute, you're telling them something dogs need to hear more than almost anything. You matter enough for me to stop. And here we are at number 7, the one I promised from the beginning. And I'll be honest with you, When I first learned this, I sat with it for a long time. Most people believe the highest form of love they can give their dog is to make them happy. Play, treats, affection, all the time. And that's beautiful. But there's something deeper than happiness. Something dogs search for before anything else. Safety, not happiness. Safety. A dog can be happy in a moment and still not feel safe. They can jump for joy when you give them a treat and still sleep with one eye open. They can love you completely and still carry a small background anxiety because they're never quite sure what to expect from you. Dogs are animals that in nature live in packs. And in a pack, there's something that regulates everything: predictability, knowing what's going to happen, knowing who you are, knowing that if something goes wrong, someone has it under control. The science of animal attachment, particularly the work of John Bowlby adapted to canine studies, suggests that dogs form secure attachment bonds when their primary figure is consistent. Not perfect, not always present, but consistent. And here is the action. Tonight, before you go to sleep, go to where your dog is. Sit beside them. Put your hand on their chest, where their heart is. And stay there for 30 seconds in complete silence, breathing slowly, not talking, not doing anything else. What your dog feels in that moment doesn't have an exact translation into human language. But if it had to be put into words, it would be something like this. The world can be unpredictable, but this being next to me is not. And for an animal, that is the closest thing to complete peace. That is the greatest gift you can give them. Not the emotion, the consistency, not the intensity, the calm, not making them happy all the time, but letting them know in their body that you will always be there. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to take them to the best park or buy them the best toy. They need you to see them, to learn their language, even if it's little by little, to be truly present, even if it's just 1 minute a day. These 7 things you just learned are not tricks. They're translations, ways of saying what you already feel, but in the only language they can fully understand. Start tonight with number 7, with those 30 seconds of silence and your hand on their chest. And when you do it, and you watch them exhale and close their eyes, you'll understand why I saved it for last.